All right, guys, let's get this started. We're going to start with some music, and then we'll go. Come on. Oh, you need speakers for music. Hold on. We started over. I'm not going to play the whole soundtrack, guys. Just a little something to get us warmed up. You guys notice I don't do the slideshow anymore. All right. Some music.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the 235-member Michigan Marching Band. And take the lead. Under the direction of Professor Jamie Elnick, the M Fanfare.
What's going on, Dre? Good to see you, as always. If you're coming in, please hit the like. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Oh, I almost forgot something. We're going to get going right after the victors. All right, guys, let's get this going. This Friday pre-Northern Illinois lunchtime stream. Welcome back to my channel. My name is, well, today it's the Ground Game. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussion 76 Sports. First of all, please like this stream, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. I have another comment here. Bryant Williams says, "Go Blue." What a week, guys. What a week. What a week. Tomorrow is the Northern Illinois game. I see that it's they're gonna give a live broadcast of it on the Big Ten Network, and I was thinking I'm gonna sit here on my couch and relax and watch Michigan assert its dominance over a lesser opponent. And I'm in business. Most of you guys know. If you don't know, I'm a blogger. And I've gone into business on the YouTube content creator side. And, when you're running a business, one of the things you have to do is monitor costs. So I realized yesterday when my bill came through, I don't want to give too much of my business away, but my business basically pays for my cable and the internet. So as a business owner, you have to monitor costs. And I realized that I had signed a 1-year contract and the price, boom, spiked up. So to get the package that I had was going to cost more money. So I opted to strip that down. So now I only have 25 cable channels. So now I don't have the Big Ten Network. So I have to go to some place like Buffalo Wild Wings to watch the game tomorrow, which is okay. I'll get some chili and queso and some Thai curry wings while I watch most of the game. I don't think it'll be close, but I was looking forward to watching it here. And I hope Cox hasn't punished me because my internet, the computer's been updating all morning. That's why I'm starting late. Oh, Dre, I'm also starting late because Buckeye Alex said he could stop through after 1 o'clock. So I think we're going to have a Buckeye Alex sighting so he could tell us what's going on with the Ohio State football team, because there's concern in Columbus about that Ohio State football team, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. So Alex is going to come through. Well, he said he was going to come through in a little bit, and we'll see what he has to say about his Buckeyes. But in the meantime, Dre says nice. Dre's looking for Alex. But in the meantime, I wanted to squeeze in some thoughts and some updates about our team, because even though our team is 2-0 and defeated the Washington Huskies last week, some would argue decisively. I'm kind of in the middle about whether or not that was a decisive win. When you look at all the statistics were pretty even, and I felt like the score was a little deceptive. And as I'll describe, there's concern from at least part of the fan base that we haven't shown a competent passing attack. So as you know, against Washington, whoever was calling the plays, Josh Gaddis or Jimbo, we still don't know who has complete control over the offense yet, but whoever was calling those plays, they dialed up 80% running plays. So, and I have 2 articles that I'm going to read. The second one addresses that, but the first one deals with Jimbo and a drill that Jimbo has named after Ohio State, or he's attached Ohio State to that drill. So early in this season and even in the preseason, Jim's been very outspoken about beating Ohio State this year, which I think is a head scratcher for a lot of us. Give me a second, guys. I keep seeing my the 3 antenna things show up. I have my hard connection here. StreamYard recommends that you use a hard connection, and I'm looking at myself over on YouTube as well to make sure that I still look good. Anyway, so Jimbo's been very outspoken about beating Ohio State this year and being motivated to beat Ohio State, which is kind of a head scratcher because this is not one of his more talented teams. And he actually named a drill after that. So I'm going to read 2 articles for you guys. But first, I saw something interesting a day or so ago. Let's see. Dre says, nice. Bryant Williams says, go blue. Dre says, nice. Dre says, no, just want to hear what he has to say about what he sees from OSU. You know, Joe Klatt was on the Big Ten Network, which I don't have anymore, last night or 2 nights ago, and Joe Klatt looked concerned about the Ohio State defense. So people are looking and kind of rubbing their hands and saying, you know what, Ohio State might be beatable this year. Dre also says Devin Gardner said that Cade handcuffed the offensive coordinator. Really? I would think that the offensive coordinator would handcuff Cade, or maybe Cade's play handcuffed the offensive coordinator. In any case, I saw this. Very interesting. It's still early in the season, and things can go any number of ways. Steve Dace, by the way, I watched the Michigan podcast post the Washington game. Steve Dace sounded surprisingly optimistic regarding what he saw. Okay, get out of there. Okay, so the top 25. There's a picture of Nick Saban in his Crimson Tide running out. I think this is at the season opener. Abdul Gaines, I don't see him in the chat. He likes to say that Alabama doesn't schedule Power 5 teams early on in their venues. It always has to be in a neutral site. That's neither here nor there. But if you go to the bottom of most of the rankings, you know, Alabama's in the top is number 1, Georgia number 2, Oklahoma number 3, Oregon number 4. Not very surprising. Ohio State still in the top 10, despite what happened last week. But if you go down to number 25, based upon what's happened the previous 2 weeks, these rankings and these coaches have seen fit to put Michigan at number 25. So the Michigan Wolverines have snuck into the top 25. Now, how long Jimbo and his young Wolverines will be there, that remains to be seen. But for now, they are in the top 25. So I think there's a segment of us who was not expecting a lot this season. Some of you all, you know, I think regardless of how Michigan, regardless of how the team looks and regardless of how the team ended the previous season, some folks are rooting for the national championship and the Big Ten championship. Regardless, some of us are a little more realistic and a little more measured. Guys, the super chat is live. If you guys want to super chat any comments, and I don't want to, you know, bang you guys over the head with this, but as a content creator, you know, I will drop my Cash App and PayPal there. If anyone wants to donate, you don't have to. Okay, you don't have to. So we're in the top 25, just barely hanging on in the top 25. I'm going to read what Trevor Cole says because he's in here. What Dre says, how was Texas and A&M a top 25 team? Trevor Cole says, isn't it interesting that in 2021, we still can't say with certainty who's calling the offensive plays? That's interesting, Trepa. Yeah, because if Josh was in charge, you know, you would think that it would be 100% speed and space, but the offense looks mysteriously like a Jim Harbaugh offense. Oh, our super fan is here. Our super fan is here, Abdul Gaines. You know, Abdul Gaines was a part of the Michigan fan base at one point. Of course, now he has joined the team down south. So, but Abdul Gaines, we go way back, so he's always welcome here, and I appreciate Abdul Gaines' passion. Okay, so the Cash App, PayPal's there if you guys want to donate something. The Super Chat is live if you want to Super Chat any comments. All right, so I have 2 articles I'm going to read. I think that'll take us to the 1 o'clock hour. Buckeye Alex said he's going to show up, and he will have a few words about what's happening down in Columbus. So let me stop this, and then let me read the first article. Let's see. Guys, please hit that like. The engagement, the likes are free. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Let's see. And this article, in large part, Jim's candor about Ohio State is why I named this stream what I named it. Does Jim Harbaugh know something that we don't? The fact that he's more outspoken and vocal about Ohio State this year. Abdul Gaines says, Dre, A&M is in the top 10 because they're in the SEC. I saw them against Colorado. If A&M were in any other conference, they wouldn't be in the top 10 this week. Okay. Yeah, Abdul Gaines, keep the commentary coming. I think you'll enjoy this article in particular. This reads, Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh renames drill inspired to beat the Ohio State. Okay. Ann Arbor, Michigan. Jim Harbaugh seems to have his best running game in 7 seasons at Michigan, rotating 2 speedy and powerful backs behind an offensive line that has been opening huge holes. Yeah, if you watched the Washington game, you could visibly see the offensive line blowing Washington off the line, which is good to see. But you need both phases of the game to play with the big boys. The Wolverines were so effective at moving the ball on the ground in a 31-10 win over Washington that they had 56 rushing carries for 343 yards and chose to throw just 15 times for 44 yards. Now, therein lies the question. Was it that they chose to throw, or the coaching staff wasn't feeling good about the passing game that day and ran the ball by default? Harbaugh said he heard a little bit of noise about it, with fans clamoring for the team to throw more and run less. There's a lot of ways to travel, he said Monday. Some people choose to travel on the ground, some people by air. George Patton was able to get his job done on the ground. Neil Armstrong through the air. Last Saturday night, we chose to grind it out on the ground, and we're also able to get our mission accomplished. Number 25, Michigan at 2-0, will likely lean on its ground attack at home again against Northern Illinois on Saturday, which I'll be watching at Buffalo Wild Wings because I don't have the Big Ten Network anymore. By the way, if you guys know of any digital ways to watch these games, I tried to pull down the Big Ten app on my Fire Stick, and I did some research on the Big Ten Network app, but I don't think it's showing live games. It's showing replays of stuff like field hockey and soccer, but I want to see the football games. If you guys have any suggestions on that, let me know. Even though the Wolverines are off to a strong start and may not be underdogs until they play October 2nd at number 18 Wisconsin, they will be measured by how they fare against number 9 Ohio State at the end of the regular season. No one knows that more than Harbaugh, who was winless as a coach against the rival Buckeyes. Reflecting the importance of the game, he changed the name of the team's running drill that stacks 7 defenders in a small space against an offense without wide receivers. Years prior, we'd call it a 9-on-7, which is what the drill is, offensive guard Trevor Keegan said. But this year, we changed it to the Beat Ohio drill. Uh-oh. Now we're blasting music, smelling salts, everything. It's a pretty physical, it's pretty physical, period. We love it. Can't wait to see what Abdul Gaines has to say about that. Ohio State has won a school record 8 straight against Michigan, including a 56-27 rout 2 years ago in the last matchup. Yep, remember that. And 15 of the last 16 meetings. The one win was under Brady Hoke with Denard Robinson at quarterback. And that was with Luke Fickell as the head coach and a freshman, Braxton Miller, as the starting quarterback in our house. So there were a lot of things that led to that victory. And the Wolverines pulled that victory out in the last few minutes of that game. Buckeyes coach Ryan Day has a team up north drill, and now Harbaugh has been inspired to dub a part of practice that shows how much that game means to him. Okay. One of Jim's criticisms is that he hasn't. By the way, guys, I have my Jim Harbaugh bobblehead here, keeping me company. One of Jim's criticisms is that he hasn't, up to this point, hasn't been vocally passionate about the game, and that's a major head scratcher. The fact that he's passionate about the game now in what's this, his seventh year number 7, after you would have thought that he'd have been passionate about punching Ohio State in the mouth in year 1. Abdul Gaines, I'm going to read your comments. Keep them coming. It kind of came along with the whole tradition of, what are you doing to beat Ohio State every day? Center Andrew Stuber said, kind of taking that rivalry into focus every day. The physical, straightforward run drill seems to be paying off so far. Michigan is averaging 339 yards rushing per game, ranking 4th in the nation, and 6.85 yards per carry to rank 5th. The Wolverines' offensive line opened massive holes against the Huskies and Western Michigan, and a pair of running backs took full advantage. Blake Corum, the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week, has run for 282 yards to rank number 8 in the country. Hassan Haskins is 27th with 225 yards rushing. Against Washington, they became the first pair of running backs to have 150-plus yards rushing in the same game since Karan Higdon and Chris Evans pulled off that feat against Minnesota in 2017. That was a rough year. I remember that year. We just kind of feed off each other, Corum said. We're thunder and lightning. Oh boy. Without a strong offensive line, though, both backs would be stopped in their tracks. Harbaugh said he sensed his team would block better this year back in spring practice when he saw how offensive linemen embraced the team's no-frills running period. That has become a drill of emphasis, Harbaugh said. Look forward to it. Excitement. They wanted music, so we play music during the drill. That Washington game felt like a 9-on-7 drill. Both teams were trying to turn it into that type of game, and our guys have embraced it and had a lot of practice at it. Okay, so that's the first article, guys. That's below the stream. I'm going to read some of the comments here. I'm going to take a sip of my water because reading dries out your mouth. Let's see. Who do we have here? Abdul Gain says, in his 7th season, now Harbaugh is all in on taking down Ohio State. They are going to get beat down by the Buckeyes Thanksgiving weekend. Harbaugh is a quitter. Fiery take by Abdul. I appreciate the passion. Hey, guys, if you haven't, please hit the like. Dre says, sometimes YouTube shows the games live. Treppa says YouTube TV, but it costs $2. You guys know how much? You could leave it in the chat. I watched the Wolverines live on YouTube the last 2 weeks. Okay, interesting. The SEC network is part of the basic digital cable package here locally. The Big Ten network is making a mistake in not doing that. The lovely Really Chris has shown up. Always good to see you, Chris. Good afternoon, and congrats on all of your channels obtaining over 1,000 subscribers. Oh, by the way, guys, thank you, Chris. Actually, 3 out of the 4. 3 out of the 4 have. My entertainment and media channel, I don't water that one enough, so it's sitting at 200. But guys, 3 of my channels now have 1,000 subs. If you want to talk more about, if you want to hear me talk about science, my science and technology channel, I'm going to really, really blow that one up. And that's why I was at Michigan, was because I was in the Department of Pharmacology doing my PhD. Abdul Gain says, thank you again for coming out, Chris, as always. Abdul Gain says, 8 drubbings in a row against Ohio State. The Wolverines should not be saying or doing anything to rattle the cage of the Buckeyes. I can't wait to see the Buckeyes beat down those quitters. Just the passion. I love it. Keep it coming. Abdul Gain says, how can the Wolverines be all in on taking Ohio State now taking on Ohio State now when they had a chance to do so last year, but grew a maze strike down their backs. Quitting against playing your rival is unforgivable. We had a lot of positives that those last 2 weeks, Abdul. The Wolverines will always be quitters to me. Dre says, Abdul Gaines is mad, LOL. Brian said, I wouldn't say quitters at Abdul Gaines, but unprepared and out-coached. Dre says, download the Big Ten app. You know what, Dre? I did do some research on it, but I didn't see where they would give me things like tomorrow's game. So I'll look again. Treppa said, some of you guys have said you watched the game on YouTube. I'll look into that as well. But I'll probably go to Buffalo Wild Wings tomorrow to get some chips and queso, some queso and chili dip, and some Thai curry wings. Okay, let me read the second article. We're knocking on the 1 o'clock hour. I suspect Buckeye Alex will show up so he can talk to us about what's happening in Columbus, and then we'll wrap up because this is a lunchtime stream and I have some other things to do today. So let me read the second article. If you haven't, hit the like. If you haven't, please subscribe. Let's see. Here it is. All right. Now this gets back to the running game, and Cade McNamara is going to be in the eye of the storm for this if it turns out that it's an inefficient passing game and not just wanting to assert our muscle on the ground. This article reads, U of M's Cade McNamara, with the run game rolling, there's no reason to stop it. This is from the great Angelique Shangailis from the Detroit News. Michigan quarterback Cade McNamara said being off to a 2-0 start this season far outweighs the Wolverines attempting only 32 passes. The Wolverines are coming off a 31-10 victory over Washington last Saturday night, during which McNamara was 7 for 15 for 44 yards. Michigan back Blake Corum had 171 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns, and Hassan Haskins ran for 155 yards and a score. A week earlier in the season, opening 47-14 win over Western Michigan, McNamara threw for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns on 9 of 11 passing, and backup J.J. McCarthy was 4 of 6 for 80 yards and a touchdown. Michigan rushed for 335 yards and 3 scores. Michigan leads the Big Ten in rushing, averaging 339 yards a game, but is 13th in passing, averaging 130 yards. Here's a picture of Cade handing off to Blake Corum. You know, guys, I'm a traditionalist, so I want to see the blue tops and the maize pants. And I'm also a traditionalist for our road games too. I like to see the maize pants and the white tops. That's just me. Obviously, we put a big emphasis on our run game this season, and I think the O-line has embraced that, McNamara said during an appearance Tuesday morning on the Stoney and Jansen show on 97.1 The Ticket. We have 2 really good backs, and getting the ball in their hands, whether that's the passing game or the running game, is going to be beneficial to this offense. McNamara was asked about the lack of emphasis on passing. When something is working as well as it was last game, there's no reason stopping it, McNamara told the show. The last time Michigan had so few attempts from its starting quarterback was in the rain during the 45-14 victory over Notre Dame in 2019. Then quarterback Shea Patterson was 6 of 12 passing for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, while the team rushed for 330 yards on 57 carries. I remember that game. Michigan players have said that comments before the game from Washington players about stopping the Wolverines' run motivated them. Washington did stop them on 4th down at the 1-yard line, leaving the Wolverines empty-handed on a 13-play, 59-yard drive. The offensive line took us not getting in the end zone on the fourth down very personally, and I think that fueled them the rest of the game. McNamara said they were moving people, and you could see that as a viewer. This week, Michigan is preparing to face Northern Illinois, which is 1-1, which is led by Michigan State transfer quarterback Rocky Lombardi. Oh, interesting. Lombardi directed the Spartans' 27-24 win over Michigan in Michigan Stadium last season, throwing for 323 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Huskies have allowed an average of 231 yards rushing this season, and there's no reason to think Michigan will curtail its run game. So I think Vincent Gray and Jamon Green will be looking for Rocky Lombardi as well because he abused them. I think around college football, they know at this point we're very confident in our run game, and I think other teams will start to pick up on that, McNamara said. Overall, our balance and our attack week to week, we're going to play it off what the defense does and what we're going to run the things, and we're going to run the things we do best. Almost done, guys. Because Michigan played a night game this past Saturday, that gave the players ample opportunity to check out the other games, including rival Ohio State. McNamara said Coach Jim Harbaugh encourages the players to not get invested in the other games before a night game. So while the Wolverines knew the Buckeyes lost to Oregon 35-28 at Ohio Stadium, it wasn't a source of motivation. We knew they lost, but that didn't affect our emotional status going into the game, he said on the radio show. Guys, if you hear a noise in the background, the groundskeepers are groundskeeping right now. Okay, I see our guest of honors in the chat. Hold on, Alex. Let me finish reading this, and I'll drop the link. Actually, I'll go ahead and drop the link right now. And when Alex is talking, I'm going to mute so you guys don't hear the groundskeepers. Let's see. Zinter's hand. Zach Zinter called the offensive line's best player earlier this year by offensive coordinator Josh Gaddis, returned to the starting lineup at right guard against Washington and continues to play with the cast on his right hand. That was a controversial statement as well. Zinter being our top offensive player. I want to thank Dre for the Cash App. Thank you, Dre. Appreciate the support. Zinter suffered a broken right hand during preseason camp and underwent surgery, Harbaugh said Monday night during the Inside Michigan Football radio show. He did play during the season opener against Western Michigan, mostly as an extra offensive lineman playing tight end and occasionally spelled Chuck Filiaga, who started at right guard. Harbaugh said they wanted to ease Zinter into playing during the opener to see how he could perform with his right hand in a significant cast while making certain he couldn't make the injury worse. X-rays of the hand were taken after the Western Michigan game. We're right here at the end, guys. And it was good. So he went full-time and started at right guard and did a heck of a job, Harbaugh said. Right tackle Andrew Stuber said it was good to have Zinter back next to him in the lineup, but said having Filiaga step in proves how much versatility there is in this position group. Having Zinter back is great, Stuber said. He's grown so much in the offseason mentally, physically. Coming in as a freshman, he was very impressive, but mentally he's learned a lot this offseason working beside center Andrew Vastardis and myself. He's progressed a lot, and it's great to have him back in there. Okay. So in a nutshell, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If the running game is working, don't stress the pass. But we know to play against the bigger boys, to have a chance to play and win against the bigger boys, we're going to have some semblance of a passing game. Guys, let me cue this up because we have our honored guest from the TDS. Give me 1 second here. Patience. Patience is a virtue. All right, I got it ready right now. Here we go. Hold on. All right.
Appreciate that. How you doing, Dr. Dunbar? Thank you for
Happy
having
Friday.
me. Happy Friday.
All right. What say you?
What say you? Listen, guys look good, right? No, they look good. Listen, coming off of a COVID year, especially with all of the changes that you guys have made on both sides of the ball, I mean, I think it's a solid start.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, we're not asking to build a pyramid in one day. Rome wants to build in a day. So I think it's a good start so far. I definitely think there's obviously room for improvement. Typically first game's a tune-up. Second game against Washington, I don't think Washington's very good, but they're a division 1A football team. So they're nobody to sleep on, and you guys put them away pretty handily. So I think it's a good start. In regards to the quarterback and the running game, listen, it's Cade's first couple starts, right? It's different being a backup because there's no expectation at all, and then you have, JJ on his heels every day in practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And JJ being a big recruit, biggest recruit that you guys have had in a long time in regards to that position, the fans want to see him play. And if I was Cade, I would let you guys see him play after we're up 44 on whoever we're playing. Solid start. I mean, I don't think you can really much ask for anything else. You guys are definitely showing improvements. And I think the main thing is that the energy is there, where it wasn't last year, and I definitely think that was a lot of that falls on the coaching staff and getting their players ready to play. So. I think they feel like Cade's the right guy. I agree with that. I think Cade should have been in there from the start. So, first two games, good start. Defense has played pretty solid. I think the wide receivers need some work. But, in regards to like separation, things like that. But I think it's a solid start to the year. That's all you can ask for is just to be 2-0 against people that you feel like you should have been 2-0 against. So.
Mm-hmm. Right. And also last year there was no pre-conference play.
Nothing.
Pre-conference play.
Yeah,
they just jumped right in.
Right into conference play, yeah.
So
like I said, it's a very good start. I would expect going into conference play that you have those couple tune-up games before you get into conference play, which we didn't have last year. So that's all you can ask for is to at least handle your opponents that are put in front of you. So I don't think I was a little shocked that they didn't have Michigan in the top 25. At least even preseason, I was a little shocked by that. I think they're at least
Really?
Yeah, I was very shocked by that. Yes, I mean even though they played bad last year, right? Let's just throw everything out, right? The season before that, Michigan had a solid year. I think the COVID year we just kind of throw it out. I just think we throw the whole year away. I mean, it was wonky. COVID was just a wonky year. Certain teams got to play non-conference games. Certain teams just played conference games. Certain teams played, 10 to 11 games. Other teams played 6 to 4. It was just a weird year, right? So I don't think you can really put any stock into anything that happened last year, in my opinion. But you guys had a pretty good recruiting class. You got some big-time recruits looking to possibly commit. I know you're behind in some battles, but there's some ground to be made up. There's obviously some objectivity from that standpoint in regards to the 22 and 23 classes. So I definitely think Michigan's in a good position, to maybe make a run at at a national championship within the next 3 to 4 years. It's definitely possible. I can see it.
Okay.
But it starts by being 2-0 and learning from your mistakes that you make in those games and trying to play better in the third game and so on and so forth, getting more tape. In those student gauge, you let some of the young guys play, see what they have. So, but you don't want to overdo it. Some institutions have done that and it's bit them in the butt. So,
okay. All right. Do you want to say any words about what's happening with you guys?
Yeah. Listen, I think two things happened. When you're on top for so long, when you're, the premier program in the country, one of the top, probably say 3. I know people like to put Oklahoma in that list, but I don't think that they're there. Not at all. But it's basically Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Alabama. So, I'll be honest with you. I think that there are some issues in regards to depth, meaning that I think Ohio State has too much depth.
Wow.
Too much depth. I mean, we played too many people the first 2 games, way too many people, and I think a lot of it is this. So teams had institutions. Football programs have 2 ways of pretty much running their season, right? You have your 2 tune-up games that you go into conference play, or you play 2 really tough non-conference opponents, or at least 1 really tough non-conference opponent, and then you go on to your preseason. You go into what I like to call preseason, and then you tune up for your conference, your conference games. Well, Ohio State did something, or the Big Ten is doing something very, very different than anybody else has done. They're playing the tough non-conference or conference opponents first 2 games, and then they're going into the sub non-conference plays, making sure that institutions within state, definitely try to help those institutions out money-wise. So like you guys played Western Michigan. I'm not sure how much they got to play that game, but, Ohio State, the same thing where they play some type of in-state school, whether it be Ohio or Akron or Toledo, they play something like that. So I definitely think that bit them in the butt. I think that we did a lot of guys that highly recruited guys, right? But unproven, but highly recruited, very inexperienced, right? So, you didn't know what you had. They were rotating too many guys in and out. And I think that, from a coaching standpoint, we got punched in the mouth. And what do you do once you get punched in the mouth? There are definitely a lot of mistakes on the defensive end that were made. So the funny thing is that the last couple of years, everybody's complaining about Ohio State's passing defense. Well, you can't really pass on us anymore, but you can run on us all day long. So it's funny how that works. So we definitely need to get that shored up where, basically Oregon scored on the same play 3 different times on the left side. So that has to be shored up. So I know a lot of people are calling for the defensive coordinator's job. I think that's a bit early, but I do believe that there are some things that need to be fixed. And I think it's the worst thing that probably could have happened for everybody else for us to lose this early. Because the last time that happened, we ran the tables, beat Alabama, won a national championship. So I believe that, sometimes when you're on top for so long, that hunger, it dies a little bit and you need to get tested, right? I think that, a lot of people are saying that, we had 600 yards of offense by accident, right? Ohio State had 300-yard receivers in that game. So, once they woke up in the fourth quarter, the defense woke up in the fourth quarter. By that time, it was too late. It was too late. The momentum was already going in Oregon's way, and it doesn't matter, exactly what they did the first 3 quarters. So definitely some things to clean up from a scheme standpoint. I definitely feel like, you should use those the Tulsa and Akron game to see exactly what you have depth wise versus not doing that. So, we'll see. I think we're in a very, very dangerous position. If I'm Ryan Day, which I'm not, but if I'm Ryan Day, I blow the doors off of everybody. I'm not holding anything back anymore. Because I sometimes it's like, even in the Minnesota game, they held things back, right? They didn't want to show too much because they wanted to overwhelm Oregon, which they did, right, from a passing standpoint, but they weren't balanced at all. For redshirt freshman to throw the football over 50 times in his second start that will never. Anytime you throw usually over like 25 passes, you're guaranteed to get an interception, right? He threw 50 and got one, at the very, very end of the game. So, and he's learning, right? He's learning as he's going along. Same thing with Cade. And the difference is that Cade at least got some playing experience. This guy has none at all. So, very, very different situation. I mean, you definitely have to protect your quarterback with the run game, and let him develop. So, I believe that you're going to see a very, very different team, for the rest of the season.
Okay. I'm going to read some comments here, and we'll just kind of do this organically for the last 15 minutes. Dre said, I've been saying that 2020 was fool's gold. By the way, for some of you guys, this is not a contentious stream or channel, but I started handing out some wrenches for some of you who are here all the time. Dre always donates. So for the folks who are here all the time, I just handed out some wrenches. So that comes with a few perks. Like if you see someone talking too greasy, you can delete them and do those kinds of things. Trepa, I gave you a wrench. I gave you one too, Alex. He said two things. No one knew Michigan's defensive coordinator's tendencies since he's never called a game before the season, and no one had film on the Michigan defense until 2 weeks ago. And Abdul Gain says, of course, he always says a lot. The Oregon game was never out of hand on the scoreboard. I don't think Stroud should have been put in position to throw 50 plus times. The backfield and O-line is the strength of the team. And
it did not play well. That's the thing. From a running standpoint, they did. And one thing that was really strange is that, typically, Larry Johnson defensive lines get pressure on the quarterback, and we had no pressure on Anthony Brown all day long. And we have a brand new linebacker core. I mean, we were just inexperienced. And, no offense, I expected Ohio State to lose this game. I really hoped that they would. I expected them to lose. We have too many from a talent standpoint, we're probably the most talented team in the country, but we have no reps at all. And they need them. They need the reps. So at the end of the day, you can be as talented as you want, but if you have no experience, it really doesn't matter. Experience beats talent, 9 out of 10 times every day.
Okay. Abdul Gaines also says, I'm calling for Combs' job.
He's overreacting. We don't overreact.
Surprise.
We don't overreact. All right? We're not overreacting. Relax. Like Aaron Rodgers said last year, relax.
Take a deep breath.
And Oregon's a tough foot. Look, here's the thing. I think people are so shocked. I think people are going to be shocked how good Oregon is. They're going to be shocked how good that football team is.
Okay. I was going to say relax. I think Pat Riley said that. I think after the Heatles lost to the Spurs, I think he was trying to keep that roster together. He told just relax, take a deep breath. So Alex, so we have some games that are going to be really, really hard for us to win. Wisconsin, Penn State, you guys. Looking at your schedule, are there any games that you guys you think you need to look out for?
Nope.
No. Okay. In the Big Ten?
Nothing. Not yet.
Wow. Okay.
The team I don't want to play is Iowa. They're leading college in interceptions, I think. And they're tough defensively. Iowa's always tough defensively. They're always a very balanced team. So I'm very, very scared of playing them. But, East-wise, not really.
Okay.
I think we can out. I think the reason why is I think we can outscore everybody. That's why.
Okay.
Which isn't necessarily a good thing. I mean, our defense definitely needs to shore up, the running situation. But at the same time, it looks bad. But we faced the two best running backs in college, right? Outside of the guy down in Texas, who's an absolute monster, who slipped through our fingers, last moment. But the guy in Minnesota, Abraham, best of luck to him next year because he's going to be a monster when he gets to the NFL. And the other running back, I think he's been there. He seems like he's been there for like 15 years. But probably 2 to 3 best running backs in the country we faced in the first two weeks of the season. So I don't think we're not going to see another rushing attack like that for the rest of the year until we maybe get to Iowa and the college football playoff if we get in. It's a giant if. So
okay, so you guys do have Iowa this season on your schedule?
I don't think so.
Okay,
but
you'll probably see them in the.
We'll see him in Indianapolis.
Okay,
if we get there. But again, the reason why I'm not worried about it is because we're not going to see any rushing attacks like we did the first 2 weeks of the season. Nobody in the Big Ten's running the football like those two programs.
Okay, so you guys don't have Wisconsin from the West on the schedule?
Let me take a look. I don't believe so. Not this year. Wait, we had Nebraska, so I think we do have Wisconsin, actually. Let me see here. All right, so we have Rutgers, Maryland, Indiana, who got their doors blown off the other week.
Phoenix.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. We just Purdue, which is like our Achilles heel. I'm surprised we got Nebraska again. I feel like we get Nebraska like every year, but no, there's not a team on here that I think can outscore us. So that's my thought.
Okay. Abdul Gaines says Anthony Brown played as well again.
Oh, he played perfect.
Quarterback. Is that the Oregon quarterback or?
Yeah, he played perfect. He couldn't have. That might have been the best game he's ever played, outside of that 5 touchdown game he had at Boston College. He's tough though. He's solid. I mean, he's no scrub. That guy's no scrub at all. So I mean, he's I think a 2 or 3 year starter at Boston College. So he's not a scrub. The guy can play.
So he's a transfer.
Yeah, he's a transfer. The guy can play.
Okay. Dre says Iowa is not running the ball well.
It always seems like that. And then they meet a team and they have 230 yards of rushing against them, like in the latter part of the year. Iowa is like a team that they're like wine. They just get better as the season goes on. And they're really, really good right now, which means they're going to be really tough to play for the rest of the year.
Yeah, Kirk Ferentz's teams are always fundamentally sound and well disciplined. So, which is why going there to play them is always hard.
It's very hard. It's very hard. I mean Wisconsin's like that too. So, those teams they don't start off running. They don't start off running necessarily well from an offensive standpoint, but as the season goes on, those are up north ground and pound teams, and they'll pound you. I mean, they might not look at right now because it's September. Wait until about November and let's see how they look.
Okay.
They're going to be beating teams up.
Okay. So we've got 5 minutes left. If you guys in the chat want to say anything or ask anything, or Abdul Gaines, if you want to give us any more fiery takes, go ahead. I'm going to pull up the spread for tomorrow's game, which Michigan should win handily. Who do you guys have tomorrow, Alex?
Tulsa.
Okay. So this says the current spread, Michigan is favored to win by 28 points.
That's fair.
And that's what you would expect from a I think we thought that too against Appalachian State back in 2007. So you can never sleep too much on the little guys.
Yeah, but that Appalachian State team was they were really good, right? They were not I think I want to say they were like FBS like runner-ups or something like that. So
Okay.
they weren't scrubs.
That wasn't a slouch.
Not at all.
Okay.
Listen, a sound football team with a really good plan can come in and beat you any day of the week. So, I mean, I'm not really worried about Northern Illinois, but that Rutgers game.
Yeah, that was a. I remember
that was a great game.
We pulled that one out where we kept saying, but it was Rutgers.
Yeah, but it was Rutgers.
But it was Rutgers.
But it was Rutgers.
Celebrating. You should win that game.
But I'll say this: hats off to Shiano, man. And he's got those guys playing tough. They're 2-0 too. So, I think the biggest games for you guys is definitely going to be Wisconsin. Nebraska never knows what it wants to do, and then Sparty. You gotta beat Sparty, man. If you guys can't beat Sparty, then that's I don't know what else to say. If you guys don't beat Sparty, I think Jimbo's up out of there.
Yeah, we have to go up there, but that's going to be a good game.
Yeah,
so I'm going to find a nice, comfortable place to watch that. That'll probably be on ABC, so I'll probably be able to watch it here, or maybe I'll go to Sports Bar or Michigan Game Watch. Big Ten play start. Well, for us, it starts next week. Some teams have already started against Big Ten opponents.
But I know you guys give Kevin Warren all the stuff he can handle. Listen, I love what he's done scheduling wise. I think it's great. I absolutely love it. I love seeing big games. First whatever of the season versus, and I'm gonna drop a little nugget here versus old Saint Nick, who basically plays Troy every year. Troy varsity and then Troy JV for the first 2 games of the year.
Mercer.
Sam Houston.
You know
College.
What? YouTube yesterday it brought up. I think their season opener was against Miami, but then I realized I was thinking, okay, they're playing a Power 5 opponent, but like Abdul Gaines says, it's in a neutral site.
Yeah. Right. And where was that neutral site? Where was it at? Do you know?
It was Dallas, right? It was Jerry World.
Which is like a hop, skip, and a jump away from Alabama. So they played a neutral site game basically in their backyard.
That's
what Alabama does. Nick Saban's smart, man.
He cooks the schedule.
I give him that. He's smart.
You mentioned Kevin Warren. I'm going to read these, and then we'll end with a Kevin Warren question. Abdul Gaines' favorite athletic director. I will be at the Rutgers game next week. Ray says. Abdul Gaines says, I'm ready to smash Tulsa. I want to get this losing feeling out of me. He wants winners, no matter what it is. He wants winners.
Take. Watch this. Ohio State, 75, Tulsa 23.
Okay, you're gonna put a basketball score on them.
Yep.
Trepicole says, I think Harbaugh's coaching scared because Michigan cannot afford to lose, and if they do lose, they have to look good doing it. Hence the run game. He says. Also, it may rain during the Michigan game Saturday, so you may get even more ground game.
Yeah, but listen, maybe that's the identity of the team.
Well, if it is, just can they put some sort of passing game around it when the teams hunker down?
But as a football team, if that's who you are, if you're a running football team, don't change your identity for anybody.
Yeah,
do what you do.
Abdul Gaines says Rutgers is going to be a tough game. Rutgers is top 20 in 2022 in recruiting. They will get better. They'll get even better quickly.
Yeah.
And then he says Chef Saban runs the Harvard Cup. For those of you who don't know, the Harvard Cup is the high school football league in the city of Buffalo. So that's a little Buffalo joke as well. It was Atlanta where Bama and Miami played. Okay, so a neutral field in the SEC. So Alex, just quickly,
that's 3 hours away.
Yep. Georgia,
like
Alabama,
but it's like 10 hours away from Miami.
Yep.
That's terrible.
So Alex, quick question: what do you make of all this? Have you been following the alliance, the Pac-12, Big Ten, ACC alliance? What's that supposed to be? This is an answer to all the teams going to the SEC, right?
Absolutely. I've been following it a little bit. It's kind of like I don't think they have anything in place right now because remember, the Pac-12 players, they have that unionized thing that's going on right now, which I'm hoping that NIL kind of takes place of that, where you don't necessarily have to unionize, but maybe it'll feed into it. I don't know, but I think that's a big part of whether or not or if that alliance is ever going to work, because California is just a completely different animal when it comes to college sports. So that's a big hurdle to cross. But in my mind, absolutely. I mean, I'm not really worried about Alabama, Oklahoma, or Texas going to the SEC. They're not very good. They're not. They can score a lot of points, but they're not very good. And I think Texas lost last week. Oklahoma loses to Oklahoma State every week. So, like, you go into the SEC, you're just going to get beat by Missouri and Arkansas instead of Oklahoma State and Kansas State every year. What's the difference? To me, there is no difference. I don't see it. Like, they're not gonna come out of there and win a national championship anytime soon. If that's what they're thinking, they're dreaming. I actually think it was a bad move. I would have stayed pat because you have a better. If you can't run the table in the Big 12, what makes you think you can play for a national championship if you can't run the table in the Big 12? Oklahoma and Texas can't do it. So, I mean, you're going to be playing South Carolina and get blasted by Kentucky if you're Texas. You're going to get blasted by Missouri and Arkansas if you're Oklahoma. So, I mean, I understand from a money standpoint, but from a football standpoint, I never would have made that move. Never. Okay.
All right. Buckeye Alex, any other closing thoughts or?
Yes.
Go for it.
Good luck on Northern Illinois.
All right.
I'm really hoping to see about 400 yards rushing this week. Ideally, that's what I like to see.
Okay. Yeah. Well, good luck to you guys too. Our super fan has one more comment. He says Alabama constantly has the travel mileage advantage in their non-conference neutral site Power 5 games. 10 years has passed since they played a true out-of-conference Power 5 road game. All right.
Some people call that just being smart.
Yeah. You gotta be in the top of the rankings at the end to get picked for the game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's an interesting standpoint. You could be like Alabama, or you could do what Big Ten teams do, or stuff like that. You'll play a tough out of conference schedule. At least get your team tested to go into conference play and get yourself ready for a national championship. Where basically Alabama, all they have to do is play 3 really good games. They basically have to play 3 games a year. Get themselves ready for 3 games, which, I mean, one versus the other. I don't think one's better than the other. I just think they're different. So.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Alex, for coming up. I'm going to wrap this up.
Always a pleasure.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
All right, everyone. I'm going to wrap this up. I don't know that I'll do a post-game show after Northern Illinois. I will, in all likelihood, probably try to do something mid next week, capturing what happened in the Northern Illinois game and then leading into Rutgers. So look for that and watch the community tab. I'll probably post something about what happened in the Northern Illinois game or any Michigan Wolverines related news there. So watch the community tab. I'm pretty big on posting things there. That's also a good way to share information. So everybody, thank you for tuning in here during your lunchtime hour. If you're watching this on the playback, I know folks are working and some folks can't watch during the lunchtime hour. Please like this stream/video. Please share and subscribe. Go blue. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and your weekend. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. All right, Abdul Gaines, I'll squeeze in one more. You have one more here. He says, I call it playing Bennett and Burgard every year. Again, folks, for those of you who don't know, the Harvard Cup is the high school football league in Buffalo. Bennett and Burgard are schools in that league. All right, now I'm done. I'll do it again. Go blue. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.